what the theme was going to be for our Anga, our intensified practice period this year, I felt a real spark. I immediately thought of all the places that the themes of crisis and karma were alive and timely and relevant. All the geopolitical, cultural, environmental, economic, situational lenses available to view crisis and karma. The rise of fascist leaders in office here and around the world, their fear, resentment, disdain for diversity. In this country, the putting of profits from fossil fuels and mining over clean water and air, tax cuts for the wealthy instead of food and health care to support the rest of the country, loyalty being rewarded over integrity, superstition over science, vindication over justice, a war against education, and propaganda burying the truth. So when the Anga theme was announced, I felt a sense of relief that space and time was being created and provided to sit with and explore the root causes of the rifts and the shifts in the paradigm I thought was moving humanity too slowly, but in what I thought was the correct direction toward inclusion, acceptance, compassion, parity, safety. And that the age of Aquarius I had heard sung about as a child, peace. I wanted to come to grips with how the naivety and ignorance that made sentiments behind don't stop thinking about tomorrow, the audacity of hope, our best days are still ahead, and the idea that we can be unburdened by what has been, all brought a sense of optimism to me and blinded me to the acutely felt fear, resentment, misogyny, racism, loathing, and mistrust that they validated and emboldened in others. I wanted to look forward and consider the karma being generated by my current words and actions and those of others in reaction and response to the world as each of us sees it and how we're experiencing it now. And questions like which does more good, writing a letter, attending a protest, or sitting sesshin? Is it better to try generating a certain kind of karma, neutralizing our twisted karma? When and where have we as individuals and collectively looked away instead of faced what makes us angry or uncomfortable? Are we really walking the walk or accepting a close enough approximation seen only by a small circle of friends where little is actually risked? I got kind of fascinated by concepts and ideas, kind of like watching a ball bouncing around or a helium balloon being bumped around the audience at a festival or concert. But unless we really throw our intentions behind our words and deeds and make our lives our practice and make practice our lives, we're kind of living this like we're watching a movie and we're not really in it. So, kind of looking at the theme of crisis and karma and all of these external pieces that motivate me and occupy my time. The way it actually ended up landing for me was different. Pretty soon after our Ango entering ceremony, it became a lot more intimate and close to home for me. Crisis and karma became kind of surprising and frightening and painfully raw. Just a couple of days into Ango, 3 close friendships were actively unraveling. And while the circumstances of each situation varied, I was the common denominator. And the ways I communicate and the karma I generate with my words and actions warranted examination. The best tool I know for doing this is our 16 precepts, my vows. So, for each of these fractured relationships, I spent some time kind of aligning my inquiry with the intention of being mindful of the interdependence of oneness and diversity. And this was tricky because I'm reactive and I quickly go to, well, I don't need you anymore. I don't need this anyway. Even if the you is somebody I really love and the this is a community that I made commitments to, I felt the impulse to just walk away. I get really frustrated. I have a hot temper. I can just as easily ghost somebody completely that I really care about as I can choose to pick a fight with them. So, looking at each of these situations through the lens of the precepts, I needed to ask myself if in these relationships, am I recognizing that I'm not separate from the other person and all that is? Am I satisfied with what I have as it relates to our interbeing? Have I encountered these people with respect and dignity? Have I been truthful, and do I speak from the heart? Am I striving to see clearly? Am I accepting each of these friends and each moment of our connection unconditionally? Am I elevating myself or placing blame on them? Am I being generous? Am I harboring resentment or rage? Am I contemplating revenge? And in each of these instances, these guidelines have helped me see where I'm controlling or dismissive, where I do or do not allow myself to be vulnerable, how much room I make to trust others or let their words penetrate my armor. Opening to how someone sees me is hard. Hearing someone acknowledge that they're hurting me reflected how they've been hurt and how they've hurt themselves is hard to take in. Walking around in circles with a friend impacted by substance abuse is hard. Being hurt by people I love is miserable. Knowing that I've hurt people that I care about is the worst suffering I've encountered in this life. But hopefully, as I keep coming back to these teachings over and over, each time I feel wronged, each time I see myself being defensive, each time I feel the impulse to withdraw, withhold, or ghost someone, each time I notice myself acting with arrogance or resentment, each time I feel lacking, or I see myself being impatient or stingy or impulsive, I get to bring myself back to these vows that I took that are part of my practice, that are the heart of it. And each time I do this, I get to take another step into this mysterious, stunningly profound, tragic, beautiful path. So it's a short talk. But I didn't want to get caught up in the individual stories. And I didn't want it to be just me. I wanted there to be places where it could be a mirror and people could see their own lives and their own practice. But this path we have, and just looking over the vows, because we have a Jukai class coming soon, that we have a new cohort of people about to take the precepts, because we do a Fusatsu ceremony every winter and renew our commitment to these vows. I wanted to offer a reminder that these are something that we can use to take care of ourselves, that these vows are things we need to take care of, and that they're a way for us to allow our practice to work on us, and most importantly, that they are guidelines directing us in ways to take care of each other.